Most of the time, we live on autopilot. Sometimes we wake up in a bad mood, stressed, with a heavy mind and a tight chest, and we don't even know exactly why. The truth is, the body is speaking all the time, but we don't listen. And even so, we keep living as if carrying this weight inside were something normal. Today, I want to show you how small gestures, simple thoughts, and tiny attitudes, when done with intention and true belief, can begin a real process of healing, both emotional and energetic. Nothing complicated, nothing out of reach, simple things, but spiritually powerful. And at the end, you will understand why everything begins with one simple principle. It's not enough to do, you need to believe. And yes, there's also an extra tip at the end, something fundamental to this healing process. So stay with me until the end. Let me share an experience I had. Before I tell you, I just want to make it clear that I'm not trying to put myself above anyone. That's not true. I'm a human being who makes mistakes, many mistakes, and some good choices too, just like you. But in this situation, I happen to react in a positive way, and I want to share it with you. The other day, I was riding a scooter and stopped on the sidewalk to answer a call. A lady walked by and complained, saying I was taking up too much space. At that moment, I had two choices: react with irritation, like most people would, or change the energy of that situation. I took a breath and said with a smile, "You're right, ma'am. I'll move it right away. Thank you for letting me know." Her expression changed. Tension turned into connection. And in that simple moment, it became clear. The way we react changes the outcome, and it changes our energy. And energy is health. Is healing. Healing doesn't begin in the body. Healing begins in intention. Taking a pill, drinking water, breathing deeply, practicing gratitude, all of that can be mechanical, automatic, or it can be like a quiet prayer that says, "I am receiving healing." The difference is belief. If you take something thinking, "This won't work," you're already sabotaging half of the process. But when you take it saying with conviction, "This is working in my favor, I am receiving healing," the body responds differently. The energy changes, the chemistry changes, the effect changes. Science calls this placebo effect. Spirituality calls it faith. In practice, it's the same principle. Your body responds to what you believe. Every emotion you ignore finds a way to show up in the body. A sore throat is often the voice you swallowed. A heavy stomach is your difficulty digesting life. Headaches come from too much frustration. Allergies appear in people who live on high alert. Blood pressure rises when emotions stay trapped with no release. Your body is not punishing you. Your body is communicating with you. Stress, for example, is not just tiredness. It's your body entering defense mode because something inside you is in conflict. Fear, pressure, self-demand, guilt, shame. When all of that has no way out through the mind, the body steps in and speaks for you. And the key is simple but deep. When you change the way you think, change the way you feel, and the body follows. You may wake up irritated, heavy, unbalanced, but that state does not have to control your entire day. Healing begins the moment you say to yourself, "I don't need to stay this way." Take a warm shower, make a slightly better breakfast, breathe consciously, change one thought, change one attitude. These tiny choices shift your vibration, your mood, your emotions, and the body responds to that. Healing is built through conscious micro gestures, and here's a simple tool you can use anytime. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 and release for 4. While you do that, repeat internally, "I release the tension. I choose healing." It calms the body and brings your mind back to center. There's another part of healing that many people avoid because it hurts. The people around you, friends, relatives, people who enter your home, co-workers, all of that is energy too. And I know what I'm about to say isn't easy, but it can deeply change your life. Some people vibrate very low, people who always complain, who criticize everything, who envy you, who make you feel smaller, who drain you, who make you cry. You don't deserve that. You don't need someone beside you pulling you down, laughing at your dreams, belittling your failings. A lot of healing begins when you have the courage to say, "This friendship is not good for me. This person is not healthy for my life." And yes, sometimes that means stepping away, cutting certain ties, not out of hate, but out of love for yourself. And there is something important here. Sometimes when you walk away from toxic people, an emptiness appears, a feeling of loneliness, and that's completely normal. That emptiness is not lack, it's space. Space for new people, new connections, new versions of yourself. Don't fear this transition. This too is healing. And another truth we need to acknowledge with honesty. Sometimes we are the toxic one. Sometimes we complain too much, judge too much, drain others without noticing. Recognizing this is not self-punishment. It's the doorway to transformation. The more aware you become of yourself, the more you benefit. You become more spiritual, more present, more whole, not only capable of healing yourself, but eventually even helping others heal too. But that's a topic for another video. And in that space, something else becomes visible. Not just what hurt you, but what you might be carrying too. There's a part of healing most people avoid. The part where you get honest with yourself, not with the world, not with others, with you. Because sometimes we're not blocked, we are self-deceiving. We call it acceptance when it's actually giving up. We call it peace when it's avoidance. And we call it spiritual growth when it's fear of facing our own weaknesses. Real healing starts the moment you can say, here, I still react. Here, I still sabotage myself. Here, I'm not being honest. Not to shame yourself, but to stop pretending. Because you can't heal what you refuse to acknowledge. Self-honesty isn't self-attack. It's self-responsibility. And every time you choose truth, even when it's uncomfortable, you take a real step toward healing. And once you stop lying to yourself, you start listening to yourself. And one of the first places that truth shows up is in your daily habits. Now, remember the extra tip I promised at the end. It begins with something simple, but deeply important. Your diet. What you eat matters. What you put into your body sends a message to your spirit. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need perfection. You just need to start simple. Maybe reduce the amount of soda, fast food, or constant sugary snacks, and include more life on your plate, vegetables, greens, and at least one fruit a day, an apple, a banana, an orange, whatever you have. That alone is already a gesture of healing. By the way, did you have a fruit today? When you choose better what goes into your body, you're telling your mind and your soul, I want to live better. I want to heal. I want to take care of myself. Food is energy, and energy is healing. But there's something essential in all of this. Don't turn healing into self-punishment. You're not supposed to be perfect. Healing is a process, not a test. You don't need to get everything right every day. You just need to choose a little more in your own favor. In the end, healing needs 3 ingredients: intention, action, and belief. Without belief, everything feels mechanical. With belief, even the simplest gesture becomes powerful, sometimes even miraculous. If this message touched something inside you, I want to invite you to do 3 things. First, write a healing phrase in the comments, something positive you want to install in your mind today. Second, share this video with someone who needs this energy. And third, if this message made sense to you, leave a like and subscribe so we can continue this healing journey together. And just one final detail, everything I share here is meant to support your process, but it does not replace medical care. If something in your health concerns you, seek a professional. Spiritual practices and medical guidance can and should walk together. When you finish this video, check the recommended video in the card. It goes even deeper into this topic. And remember, healing begins within.